And welcome back, everyone, to Lantern Corps videos. Today's Lantern Corps video comes from, I believe, Game Over or Game F Over, one of the two. I may have written it a bit ineffectively. And asked for the Lantern Corps of Madara Uchiha. Now, I realized when I did like the vast majority of the Naruto characters, I actually think I realized that I don't think I did Madara's Lantern Corps. I even did the first, I've done all the Okages, I did the Akatsuki, so I thought, at least initially, that when I did the Akatsuki's Lantern Corps, I did Madara as well, but it doesn't look like I did. So, without further ado, what Lantern Corps do I think Madara belongs in? And honestly, I think he runs a very nice gamut. Gamut? I think it's gamut. I think he runs a very nice gamut of Lantern Corps, honestly. First off, though, let's get a couple out of the way he's not qualifying for. He is not a life lantern at all. Yes, he's prolonged his life. Yes, he found a way to come back to life. But he is not for the preservation and the, well-being of life. So life doesn't work. He's also not a gold lantern, as has not been happy his entire life, which is basically the requirement for gold lanterns. He's not a lantern of hope. He always was very confident that his plans would succeed, but other than that, though, he never really had faith that much. Now, in terms of Lantern Corps, he definitely could be a part of, I think. Green is on the table, no doubt. Strong will and overcoming great fear. I think he's done that throughout his entire existence, really. That's really the amount of willpower it takes to pull off what he tried to pull off and nearly succeed is astronomical. 100% it is. So I definitely think he could qualify as a Lantern of Will. But I also think that a Lantern of Fear is not out of the question either. This is just due to the fact that when people heard his name, Madara Uchiha, it caused people to be like, he should be dead. What? And then he ultimately came onto the battlefield and, wrecked shop. So his reputation preceded him. So I think Fear and Will are definitely two strong candidates. Now, I don't think he's a love lantern. Like, a lot of people say, oh, he loves Hashirama, his bromance with Hashirama. But let's be actually clear what's going on there. Yes, that was his friend. Yes, he cared a lot for his friend, but that's not what motivated him. He was really happy when he heard Hashirama was coming to the battlefield. He was psychotically happy. But love is not what drives him. Compassion is one that I considered, but he does seem to show respect, which in some regards is compassion, to the Hokage, to the Kages, to his opponents. He's not without it, and obviously Madara clearly had compassion because he stopped Hashirama from killing himself, and they ended up forming the Leaf together, along with the Uzumaki. So, compassion he clearly has. Is it his strongest feature? No. But is he devoid of it? No, absolutely not. I would say, though, that greed might be one of the ones he can qualify for. Now, this is always difficult for me to lump characters into without knowing how things would have ended up for them. Someone like Lex Luthor qualified for an Avarice Ring because he's never satisfied. He's always wanting more. But other characters, it's really hard to figure out where they would land if their goal had actually been met. Madara was always reaching for a goal, and he wanted more to reach that goal. I think Avarice is unlikely, but not impossible. I think most likely what it would have been is in his earlier years, it would have been a Lantern Corps he could have qualified for more than his later years and his resurrection years. I think he had an ultimate game plan. He had an ultimate goal. He almost achieved it, and I think he would have been satisfied at that point. The question is what he would have done after the fact. But I think Avarice at least deserves a mention. Now, I say mention because one of the ones that's getting a mention here is the Red Lanterns of Rage. I don't think that Madara really qualifies on that level for that Lantern Corps. I just don't think he does. I think for a while, especially in his, again, early years while he was alive, and dealing with the Uchiha Senju fighting, I think Rage could have worked, but I don't think I don't think long-term it works. I think he kind of let go of the Rage and now just had his ultimate plan and focused on that. So Rage, I don't think worked. Death, though, is definitely one. He died, came back, died again, and then came back. As Boomstick said in the Death Bell interview, he had to fake die twice. So, yeah, I mean, he's killed a lot of people. Like, this is a guy whose hands are drenched in blood. So I think Death, and he's obviously dead by the end of the series. So Death, I think, really does work in his favor, no doubt. So, yeah, I would definitely say Death would be a Lantern Corps you could qualify for. Last but not least, though, is the odd child in the room, the Ultraviolets. Now, the reason I say it's the odd child, and obviously I think there's a scenario. There's a scenario where he certainly could qualify, is that, there is definitely, at least after the fact, shame. There was shame he felt for, like, the scenario that he put for Hashirama in. Shame and how he felt that, like, his clan had been treated, how the village treated them. There was shame that Madara carried with him. There was. I think while that shame is there, it's not the most defining trait, although Ultraviolet Lanterns being kind of parasitic rings can definitely overpower other ring users. We saw that, I believe, what was it? John Stewart. We saw that with John Stewart, I believe, in one of the Lantern comics where the Ultraviolets were introduced, where he kind of got possessed by one for a while, but it was ultimately overcome. So, I don't know. Shame might work. I think it's even less than average. I think it might be the one that he carries the least amount for, or he's around tied with Avarice. Overall, though, your main choices, though, here are going to be Death, Fear, and Will. Now, I'm actually going to take Will out of the equation here, because while his willpower is immense, the other big trait is to overcome great fear. And while he did that in his early years, I don't know if, like in his adult years, that would really matter, because he's clearly overcome great fear. He's shown the ability to overcome it, sure, but I think the fear he instilled in others, and the whole issue with him being dead a couple times, and, being an Edo Tensei for a while, and the amount of death he's brought on, I think those two override it. So the question is, for me, do I choose death, or do I fear? Do I fear death, or is death to be afraid of me? Ultimately, this one I feel like he can go either way. I think because he is dead by the end of the series, we will go with death here. I think that's what we're going to look at. I think fear, because ultimately they overcame their fear of him. And now they were just like, okay, especially Naruto and Sasuke, they overcame their fear of him, no doubt. And then they were just trying to kill him. So, yeah, ultimately I think I will go death, because he spent a lot of time dead. So his time as an Edo Tensei, used the Edo Tensei himself, if I'm not mistaken. No, he used the 6 paths. But that involved death. He's killed so many in his time. I think death fits just a bit better than fear. Fear would definitely be my runner-up, though. No doubt about it. Fear would be my runner-up, and the bronze medal would go to Will. But ultimately, those are the Lantern Corps that I think Madara most qualifies for, and obviously Death is the one I think that would be his true Lantern Corps in this case. So ultimately, that's my thoughts. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you folks for the next one. Later.